Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. It is Wednesday already. Oh my gosh. It's Wednesday already, and we are here for our fun crafting adventures. This week is Freebie week, and we are going through a bunch of designers, not necessarily designers that are on design space. So a lot of this stuff involves that we're doing involves uploading to design space, which we've gone over a number of times. Today's not very much different. Although today I want to talk a little bit about cardstock selection and the type of cardstock that you would use for a project like this. So this is the website that we're focusing on today. It's called my3dsvg.com. It's similar to, but not Dreaming Tree, which is 3dsvg.com. So this is my3dsvg.com. And the woman that designs this has been doing this for, I think, about 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. And I really love her shop. She has a ton of great designs here, and then usually every month she'll offer you a freebie. Now there are just so many designs to choose from, and I was actually looking at this one because I just love fall leaves and all of that stuff, although I do like the sunflower as well. So these make really beautiful gifts, and you can buy them, frame them. Sometimes people put them in paper type frames, but I like these kind of frames that I get at, they're called shadow box frames, and I get them at Michael's. Unfortunately, yesterday, when I was cutting this out, I just went ahead and cut it out, and I didn't bother to measure my frame. Big mistake. I ended up cutting it out about half an inch bigger than it was supposed to be. And now this morning, you can hear my machine is still going because I had to recut it. Okay. So what I do absolutely adore about this website is, first of all, the selection is amazing. If you want to do like your state flower, I think they have every state there, and they tell you with each design how many layers you're going to need. And this is where the cardstock issue comes up. So, and there's just oodles, excuse me. There's oodles and oodles and oodles of designs, and you'll probably spend the whole day looking at them. And don't go overboard. Order one, do it, and then see if you like this kind of crafting, because really this very heavy on the machine crafting, and you'll be needing some special supplies. So the supplies that you will need is a type of frame called a box or a shadow box frame. I'm going to actually reuse this one that I made. This was a freebie way back in March, I think a year or two ago, that I did. And look at all of these oranges. I don't know if you can see all the different oranges. Now, orange is a tough color to get a lot of different shades of. Blue, which for today's project is a lot of different blues, have a lot of different shades as well. So when you're looking at what you're going to be purchasing, what you're going to do, you're probably going to be like, okay, what do I do? How do I get all these different colors and the same kind of cardstock? So now the owner of this site suggests using like cardstock that's 8.5 by 11. And you guys know I absolutely adore cardstock from Michael's Recollections collection. It comes 8.5 by 11. It comes in slew of different colors, and it can make something like this very easy to cut. However, and this, when I was doing this, I started off with my 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock, and I don't know, excuse me a sec. Excuse me. Okay. I don't know if it didn't have a good blade in, or I wasn't using really clean mats, but it was cutting the cardstock and I didn't like it. So I decided to go to 12 by 12 and 12 by 12 I usually use Cricut cardstock. Unfortunately, Cricut cardstock has not come in a variety of colors, at least not lately. Who knows what they're going to do. But so I decided to sort of delve into my 12 by 12 cardstock, and I have two brands that I'm going to show you on how to do this. Okay, so we're not going to focus so much on how to upload this. It's super easy to upload. Okay, relax, relax, relax. And after this page is done, I'm going to show you how to put it together. We'll have cut it out. No, so I want to tell you something that happened to me yesterday. So I had physical therapy yesterday. I love my physical therapist. He's a guy I know here from local politics, and he's also a physical therapist at MGH. And we were doing our exercises. I was doing my standing up exercises and working on walking without the use of a walker, because I still have a limp. And I kept getting tired, and I said to him, I'm dizzy. I don't feel so great. And so we sat down, and okay, stop barking at me. So we sat down, and we talked about, how I was feeling, and I had some saltines and some water, and I was like, okay, I just felt like really dizzy and nauseous. And I also, have been taking my chemo medication, which, is tough. And so I just thought, okay, maybe it's just this chemo med, but every time, I try to do something strenuous, whether it's cook dinner or, I haven't even been out of the house since I got my, last operation. So I'm kind of gearing towards, I have to go to see the doctor tomorrow. And so can you please stop? Please don't do that anymore. Please. Okay. So anyway, we went back and looked at my labs. Now he's a physical therapist, right? We looked at my labs, and he said, Rita, your iron, your red blood count and your hemoglobin, I don't know any of this stuff, right? Is really low, and has been low for consistently, because they take my blood all the time. So it turns out that he said it's low enough that I would suggest that you go and get either B12 shots or have a blood transfusion. I've never had to deal with this stuff before. So I have to see my primary care physician tomorrow, but it made sense, because what happened is I do something like the show, and then afterwards I'm just wiped out, and I'm not actually doing a lot of physical stuff, but because I don't have that iron in my blood, that's caused some problems. I'm anemic. That's right. I'm anemic. So I've never been anemic in my life. So I'm hoping that once we get that situation solved, I'll be back to my 100% same self. And I also did have some blood pressure issues yesterday. My blood pressure was extremely low. And he said, basically, don't push yourself, wait to get to see the doctor and do that. So that's what I'm doing. I will not eat liver and onions. I will eat spinach. And then my sister came. My sister is a goddess. I mean, she's just amazing. And she rushed over with red meat and spinach and what else? Berries and all kinds of stuff. Oh, I don't think I could eat the liver and onions. I really don't. And I love mustard, Loretta. But anyway, I'm sorry. I don't want to, have this be all about me. But anyway, in the process yesterday, as I was preparing for the show, I did the freebie, which you can find if you do a search and you just type in on this site, if you type in freebie, see that? And this one is for August. So this, I'm assuming, will be good all the way to the end of the month. So you don't have to go rush and get it. But if it come September, it might not be available. So it might be a good idea to download it now. Okay. So and all you have to do to download this is just to click on this zip file. See where it says create elementary.zip and there's a little down arrow. And if this is your first time downloading from this site, your computer might ask you if this is a worthy site, okay? And so then you would come here. Now this is me having finished here, and it looks rather small, I know, but this is what we are starting off with. This is, I think there's 12 or 13 layers here. Don't get overwhelmed. And I just want to point out when you're looking at this, there's a lot of different blues here. So we got white, but look at these. I got 3, 4, I got green, pink, and there's 5 different color blues. And you know, you might need to start looking outside of your usual craft supply store type product. And again, 8.5 by 11 I normally use, but when I did this the first time, it was not cutting right, and I was like completely out of patience. And so I'm like, I'm just going to cut it all using 12 by 12 that I know cuts really well on my machine. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Yes, so the woman that runs this site, thank you very much. Carrie's here. Kelly Chakowski. Kelly. The woman that runs 3ds my3dsvg.com is Christina. She's also a contributing artist, Michelle Rodriguez is saying. And so, yeah, there you go. And Ellen just mentioned about Babs. I don't generally eat meat either. I tend to be more of a fruits, veggie, and grain kind of a person. I am not a very high protein person, and they keep saying protein, and I'm just going to have to go for it. I don't have a like kind of like a moral opposition to it. I just don't, I don't know. I don't prefer a lot of protein. So there you go. Anyway, so when you bring this in, you're going to do it the same way you do any kind of upload. After you've downloaded into Design Space, you're going to go over here to upload right here. And then you would see, there's mine that I uploaded, but I'm going to show you again. You'd upload an image, you'd hit browse, and then you would navigate over to your downloads, look for your download. So let's have a see. Create elementary. And then there's the SVG right here. Okay. And then all you do, it's all in one piece, and then you just open it and you're going to upload it, and it's going to come in all of those pieces. But I also want to mention, if you're doing this on your own and you're a little bit like, I don't remember all the steps, you can see here, there's an assembly guide. This one keeps coming up. This is tomorrow. But there is an assembly guide, which I hope that I can open up here. Assembly guide. It's a PDF. Now PDFs, why does this keep coming up? Assembly guide, PDF. It's not the same. Am I looking at the wrong? I am. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Here's create, and here is the assembly guide. Okay, so it tells you all the stuff that I'm going to tell you. So this is well worth you looking at before you go. They talk a lot about the numbering, the double-sided tape. And one thing I'm going to tell you is you've got to measure, and know which frame this is going to go in before you start cutting, because that's what's an issue with me. I cut it in the size that it came in on, and it was 1/2 inch too big for the frame that I'm going to use. Now I do often make these, but I don't keep them in the frame. So I do a lot of like summer, winter, fall, that kind of thing. And I'll show you this one here that I did. This was also a freebie. I think it was March 2022, and it's a beautiful leprechaun. It has all of these colors in here. We're going to use this frame. The one thing I didn't use, and this is your choice, okay, is I didn't use foam tape on this one. Instead, what I did was I just layered them all together and I didn't even glue them at all. Okay. And I put them in here, and this is the spacer bar. So you may or may not, when you get one of these, you may or may not decide, all right, if I'm going to use the foam, or am I going to use the foam, or am I not, or do I want to use foam and glue? Because there's a couple of things here I want to show you about glue that are worth it. So if I'm not using the foam, I am using this spacer bar that comes with it, you see, and then you put this here, and that way your layers are not going to move about, but you can see that they are very different layers, and maybe by spacing it, that's where you get your 3D image. Okay, so that's what this is about. Now I'm going to talk about paper, because a lot of people, when they first get started on paper things, I cut it at 8.5, Loretta, because it came in, I think, at 8.5. I'm not really sure. Yes, and definitely measure twice, cut once. Don't do like I was a goober and I did not do it. And so Michelle's saying she cuts at 7.5 inches for an 8x8 frame, but I think the eight will work as well. I did measure the second time that I went around. So the big moral dilemma, or the big dilemma here, is finding the right paper to cut, finding all the colors, because some of these things are like 14, 15 layers, and you may only have 2 colors of blue, whatever, and you're going back to your stash and you're looking for paper. So these are 2 things that I would recommend, especially if you are new to paper. I would definitely recommend these. These are from this here kind is from Park Lane. Now, what I found out about this I got at Joann's. That's the Joann brand name, is Park Lane. And if you just flip over the other side, you'll see all of these colors that are included. This one in particular, I think, is just called, let me see, which one is it? I bought all the different ones, and I'm just looking for the kind it's called. It doesn't say it on here, but it's probably something like Night Sky or something. And what you do is you get 60 sheets here. Look at this, all of this. You get 60 sheets of this paper, and it's a nice weight. It's like between 60, 85 pound weight, and lots of varies of color. You get 3 sheets of each color, and it's 12 by 12. It cuts beautifully on a Cricut. And you'll see here on the back, the reason why I know this was done by American Crafts is down here it says Park Lane is a registered trademark of Joann's store. Okay, so that's their trademark. But all this stuff here, this information comes from American Crafts. So I think what they did was they went out and they partnered with American Crafts and came up with these different selections. These are available in a bunch of different selections. If you can't find these, or you don't shop at Joann's, this also this type of thing is also available. This is from AC Cardstock. This one is the summer pack. This one's a new summer pack. It has different colors in it. Same sort of thing. You're going to get 80-pound paper. You're going to get 60 sheets. And you can see here, there's 20 different colors. And so if you were suffering for blues, look at, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically, maybe not this one, but this is going to make your life so much easier than having to go to, say, Michael's and pick out sheet by sheet, or buying 25 different colors, 25 pieces of, like, in a pack. I just like these sampler packs for this kind of a job. Okay, so that's my first recommendation. My second recommendation when you're doing this is that you cut it on the cardstock for intricate cuts setting. very important because there's a lot of detail. And when I do the cardstock for intricate cuts, it cuts beautifully. And here's, I'm going to show you a couple of the cuts that I made here. Now, it does waste a lot of paper. Make sure you save this because it's good scrap for future. And so, and the other thing is I would definitely make sure you're using a really good sticky mat. The worst thing in the world when you're working with a Cricut is you put it on the mat, it's not sticky enough, and then it starts moving around and it ruins that page. And then you have, especially if you are like looking for all these exotic colors, you know, you have to go back and find out where you got them from, right? And so, oh, and so Mama Bear's saying, I do buy the pack sometimes, but I run out of one color usually in the middle of a project. And that has happened to me. Like there's some colors you just like better than others, or that are used more than others. And what I like about this with the paper is it tells you the colors here. Now, this is something you may or may not want to buy, but I did get this from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. So if you are a serious paper cutter and you want to see all the different colors that are available to you, there are a number of paper makers. There's Basil, there's AC Cardstock, American Crafts, and they have also different finishes. So this is a sampler from American Crafts textured cardstock. So you can see here. And each of these has a little tag and it will tell you the color name, the texture, and this is the SKU number. Okay. And this is where it came from. So these are called swatch pads. Maybe if you are old enough, you might remember things like wallpaper books and stuff like that. That's what it reminds me of, like wallpaper books or whatever, so that you can kind of just sort of, you know, go through. Now, this isn't perfect, but it's really helpful because sometimes they discontinue a color or they add colors, but this gives you a real general feel for, like if you said, I want to get some sort of blue, I'm focusing on blue today. I want to get some sort of blue, and you can look at all the different blues and see how different. The other thing that I really, really like about this is that, let me just check, I want to see that I really like about this is that I now know if I'm using something like this, I can go and look at my swatch and say, okay, I'm going to try to find this jade. And then I might go and, let's see, there's Cascade, Peacock, Pool. I love Pool. Robin's Egg. Where's my jade? Seafoam, Spearmint, Geyser, Bubbles. Wow, it's not in here. So, but this is our way to sort of like kind of get a visual on the color scheme. Okay. And then you can, if you want to go to 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, and let's say you just absolutely love that jade and you've used it all, you can go and find that individually. That's what I like about this cardstock. Now, I will speak on Cricut cardstock. I absolutely adore Cricut cardstock. However, over the past 2 years, they have basically clearanced out everything except for white, black, red. Sometimes like you get a few samplers, but they're all in clearance. I do not know what the deal is. I have asked many times. I know Melody asked when she was alive, saying, you know, what's going on, because she's primarily a paper cutter. Their focus right now seems to be on iron-on and vinyl. I like those two things, but they're just not the medium that I choose. And maybe this is the same for you, but so you have to sort of look outside of them, even though their cardstock is totally the best. It's really, really good, works really, really well. And I'm hoping eventually they come out with new colors or whatever, and then we can go ahead and start using that more. But for now, this is what I have to do if I want to make some project like this. Okay, so when we're cutting them out, make sure you're using a newer mat that's sticky. I used my strong grip mat. I like my strong grip mats because they really hold on. But when you're taking things off of the strong grip mat, you do need to be very, very careful. And so I take out this part, save this, and then I'm going to turn my mat over like this, and I'm just going to very slowly sort of detach the cut from the mat. And this is a way that your paper will not rip, and then also it won't cause your paper to get like this curled, right? And these are extra pieces that came out, and then I would just clean this off. And sometimes when you're cutting it out, there are little pieces that don't come out, and you just have to do a little hand picking over there. And then the same thing for this one, the pink, although I did this a little different. Now, the great thing about these files from Christina is that they are numbered, because it would drive me absolutely insane if I had to do this and figure out which layer goes on which. I mean, it's possible, but it's kind of like what I'm dealing with Craft with Sarah. Craft with Sarah is great. She has a lot of really good free files. However, you have to really, really concentrate on how you're putting together her files, because there are just so many layers. But this particular one has numbers on it, so you can see. So this is number 11, this is number 7. So the only ones that don't have numbers are the front and the back. So the front is this, no number. Okay, and then there's 2, 3, if I can get these, okay, all right. There we go, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we need to find our 7. There's our 7. 8, 9, 10, 11 goes here, and 12, and this is the back. All right. Now, the way these are designed is that you would find your foam squares. I'm going to show you a little bit about foam squares, or foam, just basically foam. This is a foam piece. You're probably familiar with it. We use it a lot when we're creating I'm having trouble with this yellow. We use it a lot when we're creating cards. It gives a lot of dimension to it. You don't have to use a foam on these. It does make it look slightly different, but I will tell you at the first two, I think I'm not going to use foam. I think I'm going to glue these because of the word create. I feel like if it was like slightly foamed out, I wouldn't like it, so that I'm going to try that on this one. But then what we need to find are these. This is foam dots. I usually call them pop dots, but you can buy them anywhere. They have them at the dollar store. They have them at Joann's and Hobby Lobby and everything else, and also online, Amazon, Michael's, blah blah blah. So they're kind of ubiquitous. The only thing that I would suggest to you is that sometimes they are thinner or thicker than the other. So let's have a look at this. So see this? This is quite thin. This is from Amazon. I bought these at Amazon. I got like a slew of them, but it's really quite thin. And then you have these ones, which are from, I think, Michael's. I think this one's from Michael's. And they're a little bit thicker. And the only thing I would suggest, I mean, you could use the thin ones and the thick ones together, but don't mix and match on your each individual layer. Okay, so don't mix and match. I'm not sure if it does. So Loretta's asking, does the assembly, let me go look at that assembly guide. So what she's saying in this assembly guide is to begin from the top down. So you place your foam on the back of the cardstock, evenly spaced, and where you would put it. She doesn't say glue or, whatever. She tends to use tape strips for the later pieces. So the thing about this, once you get them in order, you'll notice that there's more detail, you know, it gets more detailed like this, and then it starts to be less detailed, you know? And so all these foam dots need to be added on. And in some places you can use foam strips is what she's saying. Okay. So she's suggesting that we do it from the top down. So that's what we'll do. But just be careful of your foam dots. Try to get the same thickness of your foam dots. And again, you don't need to use the foam. It looks pretty awesome just like this, and you can use that spacer bar. But if you want to see that 3D effect, which is really the fun thing about this, you know, that is what you would do. The assembly project does include the back of the cardstock and showing you like where to put your strips or your dots. Okay, so in this particular, the top one, she's saying that I should just put strips here and that would be okay. But I just feel like on the top one, I want to do a little bit of glue. So that's what I'm going to do. You don't have to do that. Remember, you can do anything you like because this is your craft. Okay, but this is, for me, I feel like this is very, very thin and it won't really work too well. Oh, and Michelle, you're so helpful. Thank you. Michelle is saying she gets foam rolls from the Dollar Tree, and it comes with 3 rolls of varying sizes. Awesome, wonderful. A lot of our watchers like the Dollar Tree, so there you go. Someday I'm going to get myself over to the good Dollar Tree in back of what used to be Chili's. I think it's Danvers. It might be Peabody. But anyway, this concerns me, this very thin layer. So that's why I'm using glue on this. It's just me. You might say, nah, Rita, I'm fine. But this is just me, and I'm showing you, and you're watching my show. So, so there's that. That's all that. Okay, so for the first one, I'm using glue. The first layer, I'm using glue. And just as another note, definitely you've got to measure. Don't just take what you insert, because when I inserted it, it was like 8.5 inches. I was in such a funk or whatever, like fog, that I didn't even check, and I just cut it all out. So here you go. There's my other cutout, which was designed for an 8.5 inch. Maybe there's a 9-inch one that I could cut it on, or that I could put it in, but right now I don't have a 9-inch one. Okay, so there's our first layer. I'm just going to come here and put the second layer right on top of that. Just like this. All right. Now for the next layer, I will use the dots, and I'm going to use these ones since they're already started. I'm going to put dots here. Again, strips would work for sure. You don't even need to glue this, but if you want to glue it, glue it. It's up to you. It's like kind of how you want to see it. And there are just so many wonderful designs that this woman Christina has made, that it's, you know, well worth seeking her out on her webpage. And then also check, as Michelle said, I think it was Michelle who said that she's also a contributing artist. Now with these foam dots, the idea about them is that they have adhesive on both sides, and then there's a lot of this that's going on. You got to take off this part of the foam. You actually don't need to do this if you don't want to, and it will still be pretty good. So let's try that, because the foam is just lifting it up, you see. So I could take these all off if I wanted to, and stick them together. That would be the best way if you're going to reuse the frames. Okay, is kind of stick them all together. Maybe put this in a plastic kind of a bag of some sort, like a giant gallon bag of like a Ziploc. And then, you know, when it comes time to be October or whatever, maybe you have 12 different designs that you've done and you can just swap them out, which I think is really a cool idea. So in that case, I would definitely remove all of these little pieces, but they are a pain in the neck. So I always use my my little weeding tool to get those tops off. And if you miss one, no big deal, you know, because the other ones are there. And the whole idea of the foam is that it's giving just a little bit of space in between the layers so that it will have that 3D effect. And these are just beautiful shadow boxes. I actually found a couple of shadow boxes on what do you call it? Design Space. So it doesn't hurt to look. I don't know how the best way to find them, but if you look for the contributing artist, her name is Christina, and you might be able to find her through there. All right, and then I'm just gonna put here. Now I didn't put any dots here, and I'm kind of, this is what concerns me a little bit, because you're starting to get like some dimension, but I'm going to just go by what she says, which is basically just do around here. And looking at her assembly, I think she puts a few dots here. So then you're going to have to worry about size of the dots. So let's do this next one. Now, so you notice that these dots are pretty big. So I think I might switch to this dot. The worst thing about this project is you don't want your dot to show. You don't want your dot to show, okay? You want to choose a size dot that's going to work. So in this case, I'm going to put my dots here, you see? And I know that they're not going to show, but if they are going to show, then I would have to cut them. Like, so I'm not going to put a dot here because it's just too thin. And you can go a little crazy on the dots if you ask me. So, you know, use your discretion or what you prefer. But I'm just going to go ahead and, since I don't have this thickness in a larger dot, I'm going to use these smaller ones. This would make a perfect gift. I was thinking about, I got this wedding and also I have my sister's 60th birthday coming up. So this would make a nice gift to give someone because it's easy and it has the hanger already included and everything. So there's that. Let me just put my glue, cover on my glue. And, you know I'm trying to do this show in less than an hour. And so, you might be like, Rita, you're taking so much time. You're talking so much. I know I talk a lot. I just talk a lot. You guys are the only people that I get to talk to pretty much for the whole day, except for doctors. So I just tend to talk too much. If I talk too much, just turn off the volume. And then you can also be a part of our wonderful chatting group. And if you are new here, and you just want to say hello, tell us where you're from. This is by far, in my opinion, the best part of this show. And it's not just because it's my show, it's that I have these wonderful people that come, daily, or maybe they come a couple times a week. And they just say hello, and we get to learn about what's going on in the rest of the world, basically. With people from Colorado, Loretta being the admin, she's from Colorado. We've got Texas people, we've got people from Canada, we've got people from Massachusetts, that's my hometown, my home state, and we've got quite a few great people here, and they're so helpful, and they help me. They help me too. They say, oh, this is what I do. And you might have seen me saying that, where Michelle is saying, oh, I do it this way, or I got this at Dollar Tree. So here we go. Now, if you have a little shaky in your hands, which I do, putting this on can be a little bit of a difficult thing. But you want to press down so all of those are, see how we're creating this? Oh, Marlene, yes, thank you. Marlene sent me the, because I absolutely adore balloons, hot air balloons. And Marlene lives in, I think it's Lewiston, or is it Auburn? Auburn, Lewiston, kind of clear in Maine. And she told us about the hot air balloon. And what's great about that is that you could see it from pretty far away, I would imagine. And so you don't have to necessarily go to the fairgrounds or wherever it is they hold it. But hot air balloons are fascinating. They also do one out in Western Mass, Springfield, in the fall. It's just a beautiful sort of fallish thing to do, is to watch hot air balloons. I don't know if I would ever go up in one. Kind of not my thing, but I just like to see them. And you see here, I put a little extra here because I'm like, that's not enough. So I put a couple here. This is supposed to be fun. If you don't find this fun, that's okay. There are other fun things to do with your Cricut, but if you find this to be a little nerve-wracking, then don't try it, or just don't deal with the foam and just put them in the frame just like it is, you know. But I know some people will get like kind of frustrated. Oh, all these little dots here, and then I have to take the covers off of the dots, which I already told you, you don't necessarily have to. But just when you're putting them there, you want to make sure that those dots are not hanging over the edge. And if it feels like it's hanging over the edge, either skip that area or cut your foam dot, okay? So that you can then continue on. And then, you know, I personally, I don't have a problem with like doing some glue and some foam. Some people might be like, oh no, I want all foam. But sometimes it, you know, it looks okay if you have a few layers that are not dimensional, I guess. And so I probably will do that close to the end or maybe in the middle. I am on number 4 of, I think it's 12. So I'll just have to keep talking. I'm running out of time here, but so while I'm running out of time and doing this, because it's kind of like you don't have to think about it when you do it, I wanted to tell you next week we are doing containers week. We're doing any kind of box, bag, tote, tray, and things like that. We're going to do all kinds of containers because we were talking recently about Christmas, because we did Christmas in July, and I was talking about different kinds of containers that I like to put my Christmas cookies in. So I wanted to show you some options that are available. And it will be, probably I'll do more like fall Christmas theme containers, because that's when everybody tends to bake, right? And so next week is containers week. I know this kind of like sounds boring. Boxes and totes and bags and all kinds of stuff. In fact, there's quite a few freebies available at Dreaming Tree that I'm going to do for the containers. And then I just love containers because then, you know, like if you're giving, like, so I saw this one on Dreaming Tree. Here we go. I saw this one on Dreaming Tree that was a popcorn, like box, like a box of popcorn. And I thought of my sister immediately, because my sister just absolutely adores popcorn, and she's turning, as I said, she's turning 60. And so I need to come up with something really clever to give her for her birthday. And then she's also going to take a trip to the Dominican Republic. And I was thinking, okay, maybe I don't know what I'm going to do there, but maybe I'll buy her like kind of a, you know, it's all inclusive. So like I was trying to think, well, maybe I don't want to just send flowers, maybe fruit or something, or maybe even a day at the spa, like a couple's day or something at the spa. So that's what I was thinking for her birthday. They're going right after, actually he's having surgery. So there I am cutting the foam, and I'm gonna put it right here, like here. he has AFib or something like that. Found out when he went in to go get carpal tunnel syndrome surgery just a couple of months ago, and he has some sort of I haven't looked it up, but it's called AFib for his he's a big guy, and he's a weight he does the weights, like he's like a gym rat, you know. And but he's getting older. He's like almost 62, and so he can't really do as much, I guess. You know, getting older, it really just kind of sucks, man. uh, it sucks so much. You have to think about, like, when you're in your 30s, you can just eat anything you want, don't sleep, don't get any exercise, and you're like, you wake up and you're fine. And it's like, and then in the 40s you get kind of slower, you don't want to go out as much, and then 50s, forget it, you know. It's just like, okay, I guess this is old age. And it's just, everything starts to break down. It's like your warranty expires when you're 50. And so that's how I feel with my year so far this year. So far this year, I've had two pretty major operations, one for a hip replacement that was an emergency, and then the one recently that I had, which was for to shore up my femur, and I got rods and pins and everything in there. And when I was talking to Tom, my physical therapist, he's like, well, don't forget that, you know, you've got cancer, which I do, and it's in my bones, and you're dealing with that. Then you're dealing with the usual stress of you're a mom, and you have your own mom living with you, and and then you got the dogs, and they're always needy, and so you're putting all these people before yourself. But now your body is saying, basically, it's giving you warnings, like, okay, you guys, we got to slow down here, you know. And then it gives you sort of a final warning, like, if you're not going to shut yourself down for a little while, I'm going to shut you down. And that's what was happening to me yesterday because of my blood pressure, and then not having the energy. I actually, like, kind of got, like, you know, that tunnel vision thing that happens, and I was like, whoa, wow, he's right. He's seriously right. I have 100 things going usually, and I have, like, all these things happening, blah blah blah. I just go 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 go, and then I crash at night. This is number 6. Crash at night. And he said, you know, you have to give yourself permission, take care of yourself for sure. So eating right and trying to get exercise in, and it's just like, wow, I'm still functioning as if I were 30 years old, maybe 35. And he's telling me, no, you got to stop that. Anyway, I still have guinea pigs. Yes, I do. I got 4 of them. And what's really lovely is that I got those guinea pigs for my son, and he loved on them for several years. And then he decided he was too important or whatever for taking care of them. So then I took care of them, basically exclusively, and that's a lot of work because you have to clean their cages, and I feel like I'm like whipping up little salads for them all the time, you know, because they love vegetables and fruit. And so you know, I'm like, I go grocery shopping, I'm like, this is for the guinea pigs. The spring mix, they love spring mix, they love watermelon and stuff like that. And so you have to, you know, feed them every day. But now my mom feeds them, and she talks to them, and this is very good for her. So I was getting to the point, I was like, I don't know, should I keep these? Owen doesn't have any interest in them. And then my mom came to live with me last September, I think it was. And I was like, what can I give her for a little job? And because she's got dementia, and she doesn't hear very well. Everybody thinks I'm yelling at her, but if she's not looking at your face, she doesn't hear what you're saying. And even if you are looking at her face, sometimes she just doesn't hear you, or she misunderstands it, which is fine. it doesn't bother me. It bothered my sister Teresa immensely to have to repeat herself or to raise her voice. So she's like, oh, what, and I'm like, you just have to, just be patient with her and allow it to, her to communicate that way. And anyway, so she absolutely adores these guinea pigs. She won't pick them up or anything, but she goes in there. They start weeking. That's the noise they make. They week, 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 and she gives them all their little carrots and celery and stuff, and then she changes their water and does their hay because they like to eat hay and kibble, and it's a lot of work. But they're so adorable. But they just don't do anything. They're adorable to watch. And right here on the sun porch with me, the other half of the sun porch with me, and but like picking them up and stuff like that, it's kind of not our thing, but which is fine because they don't need or really have a need to be physically touched. They're used to being prey animals, so sometimes when people put their hands in there to try to pick them up, they run around, and especially if it's somebody new, like they don't run around for me, but you have to kind of corner them sometimes, and so we just don't touch them, but they're adorable. I had a time when I was dressing them up for all the holidays too. That was fun, but it just got too much. But they have like a pineapple costume. I'll have to post a picture. They had a pineapple costume, a mermaid costume, and then I was like, oh, for Thanksgiving we'll make them a little table with my Cricut, and then we'll put like little Thanksgiving display out, and they would come and eat. They wouldn't sit like a squirrel, but they would come and eat the food. They're adorable. Anyway, and then I have my 2 dogs, but I had 3 dogs until October last, and my corgis. And so my mom's doing the guinea pigs for the most part, and then Santo, he does clean out their cages, which for me that was like a lot of work. And then Santo takes the dogs for walks every day, sometimes twice a day, because they do have a backyard, but they like to walk. And everybody stops him on the street, he says. They're like, oh, corgis. And everybody knows me as the woman with the corgis, which I'm fine to be known as such. I'm fine with that. I'm going to put a little one here and here. I'm going to cut it in half. Halloween baby. Oh, yeah. Now, Owen is turning 18 in September. And I got to tell you, that has caused me a terrific amount of anxiety because he's tough to judge. He's he's autistic, but he has an incredible need to be different. Like he loves to wear he's always loved to wear like costumes. Like, so I have this great picture of him in a pirate costume. I got him. He absolutely loved it. He wore that thing for I don't know, a year, like over his clothes. It was like a Melissa and Doug thing, and he wore it over his clothes, and he just just loved it. And now that he's older, he's really into like 1900s military. That's his favorite. His store is the Army Navy store, and he loves like getting special boots and like different badges, and he's always like badges and everything. In fact, he joined the Cub Scouts because he just wanted the badge. The badges that didn't last very long. But I'm just like a little afraid because when he turns 18, legally he can go ahead and do whatever he wants, and he's just not ready. And that's not me being a helicopter mom, because he doesn't drive. He doesn't know how to like make his own appointments. He doesn't know how to advocate really great for himself. So I'm afraid he's going to turn 18 and be like, okay, mom, I'm not going to go to school and I'm just going to hang around the house all day. And then what do I do? Then I have to like, what do I do? I have to kick him out? I don't know. So I was having this whole conversation yesterday with his therapist, and we're going to strategize because like all of these systems that we work with, because he's on like local care, like his health insurance and stuff, and they require when he turns 18 that he becomes I could still be his surrogate, but he has to sign off on that. And I'm just a little afraid of, I don't know, maybe just be paranoid. Mini pigs? Oh, you mean like oh yeah. Now my brother-in-law, the one that passed away from COVID, he had pigs. He was a funny guy. He was a little difficult to like work with. He would get in his little stubborn thing, but he was very kind to animals. And so he was doing a job one time, and the guy said, I don't have the money to pay you for the whole job, but I do have these 5 pigs. They were babies then, and would you take them as collateral? And then it seems like, I think, or as part of the payment, whatever. And he said also, you can get the food that they eat when you go over to the special supermarket. Like they have day old bread and they eat anything. And so he he had these pigs. They got so big. And then unfortunately when he was in the hospital, they got sick, and even though my sister was taking care of them, they got sick, and then one by one they all died. But he just absolutely loved those pigs, and he used to go there every day. Go to the supermarket, get all the leftover extra whatever because they eat anything, and he would feed them, and they'd be happy little piglets. Well, not piglets; they grew big. You should see their house that they built for them. They had a nice little house, and they would just come out, wah, wah, wah. And what's kind of funny, and the same thing is true for guinea pigs, is they'll eat it absolutely whole. So at first when I was creating this, I'm making little salads like, and cutting it off, and then I realized, they eat the whole thing, including the seeds. And then what happens to them? They poop them out. And then so that becomes compost. And if you go and use compost in your backyard, you end up with things you might have fed them. That happened to me with pumpkins. I had these pumpkins, and they love pumpkin, and I cut it up. I maybe didn't put this one on too well. So the pumpkins, I cut them up, and they ate the pumpkin rind and all. My dogs eat pumpkin too, but I cook it for them. So yeah, I'm kind of a little obsessed with pumpkins too. So at any rate, wow, look at how thick this is getting. I'm getting a little nervous. Maybe I might want to do glue for that very last, or at a certain point. What do you think? Looks like so yeah, I'm on layer 9. And there's 12 layers, 13 really, if you count the back layer. So if you can't stick with me as I do this, that's okay. I totally get it. It's not something you can do just boop, 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 sit at your work chair and go, oh, I'm going to make this right now. You do have to dedicate some time. And the cutting out is one of the biggest time users. And then and then putting it together if you're going to use all your foam. And I think I want to use foam, except for at the front and the very back. So I'm going to keep doing it. If you can't stay on with me, you think I should do glue now? Yeah, I think I might do glue for the following pieces. Plus, this is really time consuming, So it obviously makes a great gift. looks so professional, but it's not something that you want to do every single day. Not me anyway. I just, this is too much. I rather make like a cool card or whatever. Anyway, so I was talking, next week is container week. And we're going to do like bags and whatever. And then the following week, I'm ruminating with this idea called Friends Week. Friends Week. And I'm thinking that what I'll do, so I'm going to leave, that's going to be the last one that I do there. So I'm going to just glue these things together. I want to welcome individually someone, any of my friends, and we'd have like 5 opportunities to do it. And so when I was sick, and even on my birthday and everything, you guys, a lot of people sent me these gorgeous things that I keep all around my house, and cards and really adorable things. And Babs, one of those people. There's also Debbie Mackey. There's a lot of people. Loretta sent me a bunch of stuff, and so I have the ability now to share my time online with one other person. So I started thinking, well, I really want to try that, because sometimes it's a little hard to come up with topics every single day, and I thought, well, maybe what I can do is, take somebody who sent me something, like Louise Beauregard's another one, Jamie. Did you see? Oh my God! Did you guys see Jamie's elephant? She apparently has the Venture, which is that brand new machine, and she cut out a supersized white elephant that she's going to give to her granddaughter, and she made it from poster board, and she put it in it's enormous. She really pushed the limit on it. And I think she posted, I don't know if she posted it on her own thing on Facebook, because it's kind of hard. You can't post like pictures unless you have an established channel on YouTube. But so it's just amazing. I looked at it this morning, I'm like, oh my goodness. The putting together, she used like tons and tons of glue, and she went through the whole process. It was like, wow, amazing. And having like a little conversation maybe with an individual for the week. So I don't know, do you guys like the idea? I really love the fact that we're friends, and that you care about me and I care about you, and we're really more of a community than just like I'm a presenter and I just give you ideas. You know what I mean? So I was thinking that. Oh, Jamie's on. Okay, so Jamie said the elephant was so much fun. My granddaughter had already started covering with stickers. That's what she was going to use it for her granddaughter. And but Jamie, what kind of material did you use? Did you use poster board, I think? And did you use hot glue to put it together, or did you use liquid glue like I use? I'm not a big fan of hot glue, but I absolutely adore it. And that was the first time that I thought, boy, that would be fun to do on that Venture, right? But I'm like, no, Rita, you've already bitten off more than you can chew. And so you just need to stick with what you do. And the people that like what you do will come and follow you, and the people that don't like you won't follow you, that sort of thing. Anyway, so Jamie got the Venture. She probably has a bigger house than I do, because that thing is huge, right? And Gail has it too. Use poster board. So Jamie, if you are on Facebook, go to the Cricut official web page on Facebook, and you'll see Jamie Leonard posted this giant poster board, made out of poster board using liquid glue. She used art glitter glue, and she put it together for her granddaughter using the Venture. And what was the other thing she said? Oh, so the granddaughter likes stickers, and so she made it so that she could put stickers all over it, and it's quite literally like almost as high as her as her granddaughter. It's so cute. Ah, I'm gonna die. It was so cute. Really caught my eye. She's very talented, Jamie. I'm so grateful that she comes to our program. She also does stuff for the Melody Lane channel for Holly and Alex, and used to do it with Melody. And it's just it's so nice to have people that donate their time, like Loretta. I mean, people that just do it because they're just that's what their heart is telling them to do. And then also, it really benefits the community. Sometimes it's not about getting paid. Sometimes it's about sharing. And I understand everything is like money, money, money. Things are getting like completely out of hand, as far as, like I told you, the technology tax on or technology fee, all the fees that I've been experiencing these last couple of months. Like, wow, they can find a way to up that bill. So, like, if we went and got sandwiches at Brothers, and it would normally cost us like $30, and then $30, you get like 3-4 sandwiches, $30. It was cool. Most of the sandwiches are under $10. Now we go to Brothers and it's like $50, because in addition to raising all their prices, they add these fees. There's a delivery fee, there's a this fee. So now I'm like, I don't want to pay those fees. So then I have to be like, oh, okay, we have to go pick this one up. And I suppose in my head I'm going, maybe Rita, maybe you're just being really weird. I suppose that I probably am. Okay, look at the I suppose that I probably am, but like, maybe that's how much it would cost for me to drive it, to pick it up. But the technology fee just really, really got me. Oh wow, look at you guys. So dimensional. I think maybe I might have to go back and sneak a little under here. But look at how the scissors look, and the pencils, that they wouldn't look like. So this is what it would look like flat with no foam. Let's just get them lined up. There we go. All right. So that's how it would look with no foam. I mean, it's still got some dimension, but this has got wicked dimension. And let's go ahead and get my, where did I put it? Okay, we'll take out my frame and put it together. I didn't do too bad time-wise. See, one time I actually glued this on here and realized that was a mistake. So that's what that pink is for. But it won't matter. And let's take this out. And this was also my 3D SVG. Look, this one doesn't even have a 1 on it. Oh, here's the 1. Okay. I liked it. And I'm not a big leprechaun fan, but look at all the green. And I didn't glue them together. Still looks really awesome. So let's take our really dimensional one, and I took off the back. And you do that by raising these little things here. I hope I put it in right, because I wasn't so exact, and maybe that's what Michelle was talking about. Like, if you make it a little bit smaller, then you can deal with the layers. And I don't think I'm going to put this on there because I don't need it. It already has all that layer. So I'm just going to take this part. Oh, you bought the sunflower one? And by the way, and I know Gail is like trying or doing her business. Look at that. Create. That's going to look perfect in my studio. I have a perfect place for it. I'm going to put it. And this is a frame, by the way, from Michael's. They're shadow box frames. Oftentimes, when you buy them, you can get 2 in a pack. So that's what I did. I did also buy the 12-inch ones. I'm going to go back up here so that you can see what I'm talking about. So don't forget about the assembly of your project is right there. And this is going to be tomorrow's program. This is why I put it off. So tomorrow's program is Craft with Sarah. And you will go on your internet browser and you will type in Craft with Sarah. It's Craft with Sarah, okay? And she has a lot of SVGs. She sells some of them, but she also has quite a few freebies. And you see there's a nice big box over here. And you can see the freebies. But you do need to have an account, and all the account is like a newsletter sign up, which is great. And you get it in your email, maybe once or twice a month. And then once you've done that, you go here, and then you can see all the free files, and all these free files. Now we're going to do tomorrow. I made the mistake of saying we're going to do it because it's a big project, and then I was like really busy. But we're going to be doing this free layered SVG, and here you'll have a whole tutorial. If you didn't want to stay or you couldn't make my show, it will show you a little bit about how she put it together, and it also includes that thing that we were looking at. Her assembly guide. So if you're going to do this project with me tomorrow, I would highly suggest that you print off or you have open this assembly guide as you put it together, because she doesn't number, and there are a lot of 3D things on here. And she'd tell you, like, so here on this particular thing, you're going to do, this is the top piece, you're going to put glue, then you're going to put foam, glue, foam, foam, foam. So she tells you exactly, like, you don't have to guess. All right, I'm going to do it that way. So, you're finishing up a quilt? Oh, nice. All right, we'll see you all. That's it for today. Sorry for talking so long, and thank you for listening. And we'll see you tomorrow for this, which is the project for Thursday. We're on our freebies week. Get geared up for Friends Week, which is coming in a couple of weeks. And then, if you guys think it's a good idea, and Container Week next week. And then Friday, because it is still freebie, I think I want to do a Joy Week, just Joy. And so I'm going to have to kind of like stick it in there, or maybe I don't know, but I'll be ruminating about it for a while. But if you want to do a Joy Week, let me know, because I think that would be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people are getting joys now, and they want to know how to use them, and I love that joy. So okay, all right, thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.